All right, we are live. Morning, guys. Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Do you guys all hear? Question. Do you guys hear my fan in the background? Do you guys hear my fan? Let me know. If you hear it, I can turn it on to quiet mode. I want to make sure you guys cannot hear background noise. How's the audio? You can hear it a little bit. Yeah, I don't like that. I do not like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it on quiet mode. There we go. Awesome. Beautiful. How is everybody doing? Welcome in. Welcome. Good morning. I'm gonna suffer in my room right now. It's in my office. I'm gonna suffer in here now. It's like 80 degrees in New York. So for you guys, I'm ready to suffer in the heat. Welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody had a good trading session yesterday. One of the first sessions in a while where I actually took no trades, and I like sometimes maybe I won't signal something, but yesterday's session I just didn't take a trade, and then I'm getting ready for pre-market this morning at around like 7 o'clock. I open my charts, and the first chart that's open on my screen naturally is AMD, and did I just do something? What did I just do? AMD was open on my screen, the first chart, and I'm like, oh my god, I was watching this 116 bounce, had contracts loaded, had it ready to go on my broker, bounced up like so quickly in seconds. It bounced up. It looks like it didn't bounce quickly, but if you go on the 2 minute, just look what happened here. Ripped almost immediately, right? Within 60 seconds, is ripped over 40-50 cents. And then I just didn't trade, right? AMD 116 was the most beautiful bounce yesterday. I mean, just like spectacular. Granted, sometimes you watch something, you just don't take the trade. That's okay. It's going to happen. But I'm sure many of you guys caught this. I'm sure many of you guys probably took this trade and you had a nice Wednesday into your Thursday session this morning. So charts frozen. Charts frozen. How about now? Charts frozen on Meta. Is it good now? Are we good now? Are we at AMD now? Oh, chart is still frozen. We are still frozen. We are still frozen. All right. We are not in business today. We are not in business today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try something. Bam, bam. Nope, we're still in Meta. I'll do window capture, and then I'll go to display capture. Bam. Oh, we're in business. Now we're in business. Look at that. All right, cool. There we go. A little reset. Little reset's all I needed. Little reset. We're on AMD now. Oh, yep, we're on AMD. 116. 116. Little reset's all I needed. There we go. Cool. So let's move on, guys. I don't want to spend all our time talking about AMD. We're going to talk about other names today. We're going over Nvidia. We'll talk Nvidia. Bull flag looks strong, right? Nvidia looks strong, maintaining levels. Nvidia is a clear outperformer on the hourly, and we'll talk about what we're doing here in AMD today. Nvidia 140 or 143. Those are your big levels on Nvidia's chart today. Mike was supposed to join with me today. I just realized that Mike was supposed to join with me in the pre-market. I completely forgot to bring him on as well. We're gonna get this on maybe on Monday. We'll have Mike join in. Tomorrow, Rav and I are together, but Mike will join in probably on Monday if he can. But let's move on, guys. Let's talk about the charts today. We'll talk about Tesla. I'm all over the place today. Tesla weakness. We'll go over Tesla's weakness yesterday. Why Tesla was weak, and we spoke about this pre-market. The idea of Tesla being one of the weakest names in the market, right? Why? Because we did a comparison to determine, okay, Tesla from our previous day session has clearly outperformed. And now this morning you're seeing it continue to outperform, really underperform in this case, right? Either outperform to the downside or underperform to the upside. And that's what's happening here right now in Tesla. So we'll talk about Tesla today. We'll go over Tesla, we'll go over Apple, we'll go over Amazon, we'll go over Amazon strong this morning. So Amazon, a little bit of juice this pre-market. So it's interesting to see Amazon kind of ticking higher in the pre-market session. A lot to go over this morning, guys. Let's dive into it. Before we do anything, though, I want to go over our earnings reports, econ data. So on the earnings report side of things, today's session, we are obviously Thursday, June the 5th. And this morning, we have AVGO, or not this morning, but in the after-hour session, we have AVGO, we have DocuSign, we have Lulu. Those are the three big ones we have this week, all reporting in the after-hour session today. Of course, AVGO is going to have an impact on what? On your chip names, on your Nvidia, on your AMD, on your TSM, right? On your MU. So be careful of that going into our session ahead of us. Obviously, we have big chip earnings in the after-hour session today, okay? In terms of economic data, if you guys look at the description of our pre-market webinar this morning, the pre-market webinar description is big data pre-market. The big data pre-market is our jobless claims, productivity cost, and international trade in goods and services. That has already been released about 8 minutes ago, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the market has already reacted to that. So we'll talk about that. We'll go over sort of what the market is doing, reacting to the data pre-market, and we're going to have a good session today. That's it. We're going to have a nice, relaxed, chill pre-market session. So on the SPY chart, yesterday's session was pretty relaxed, right? Kind of the idea yesterday after a big, crazy upside move on this Tuesday session was a very relaxed Wednesday, right? And the key thing to note yesterday is if you were scalping puts yesterday, right? If you scalped puts yesterday off the highs and you got some surgical entries, I think Mike actually got a really good short yesterday off these highs. Well, even though the market did react off of highs, the general grain of the market right now is still bullish with a capital B, right? And the reason why I say that is because the market is maintaining this trend, right? And as long as we continue to maintain the previous structure, which in this case is technically 595 now, which the reason why it's 595 is because of what? Because you have a low here, you have a higher low here, you have a higher low here, and you have a series of equal lows here at 595. So yesterday's session, one of our main things we were watching was 595 being technical demand. If we are maintaining 595 as technical demand, then we are holding bullish, right? And the reasoning yesterday, why, if you guys recall from me on live trading, the reason why I was saying I don't really like puts was not because I don't like puts in general. Well, it's just because I don't really want to go too short right now until we lose 595, right? And that's the key thing I think we have to note today is the market will flip bearish if we break under 595. So today's session, if you're looking for shorts, I think the best possible short entry, again, is going to be if we lose this 595, in which case you can capture that short side move and then move back lower into 590, as I sneeze, but I'm not. 592, okay? So if we lose 595, we move back lower to 592. If we continue to maintain the 595, which we are pre-market right now, then the idea is still bullish. And the idea is still that we are trending higher here, right? And yes, we are trending higher back into big supply. I know it's big supply. I see it's big supply. I saw the rejections coming yesterday. I see the last week highs lining up perfectly with where we rejected off of yesterday. But the idea is the market still is maintaining bull sentiment, right? And if we're going to lose bull sentiment, obviously you know what would happen. It's under 595. That's when we lose that sentiment and we go back lower to 592. If we continue higher today, we break and hold above 598 today. If we do that, that's your leg higher and then move back to 600. Those are the two most important levels today's session. Again, I'm going to repeat myself so it's so clear. The levels are simply the previous day high and the previous day low. Yesterday's highs is 598. Yesterday's lows is 595. Trade longs above 598. Trade shorts below 595. That, in my opinion, would be a solid thing to watch out for today. If you see us do this today, now this is where things become tricky. If you see us break the 598 level, see a little upside, little juice, right? And then bam, failure, be careful of this. Because if that happens, that's a very clear short and we can look for a move back down lower. So again, everything that we're doing today is structured behind watching the 598 supply and the 595 demand. Okay, if we lose 595, we go back to our secondary demand, 593. That's what we have here on this SPY chart. That's a big arrow. We don't need a big arrow. Let's move on now. Let's talk about ES's chart. On the ES chart, the levels are as follows. The same thing that we spoke about yesterday. I haven't even touched this chart since yesterday's session. 59.70 was our technical demand below. If you guys recall, fancy, yeah, data used to move us. Yeah, yes, it's true. Data is not moving us not that much. It is very true. But the good thing about this data, fancy, is the fact that we do know where the level is, right? So that little candle low from this this little reaction on data right here, that to me tells me we're bullish. And if we break that candle low, we're bearish, right? So to me, even though I know the data is a little bit kind of subdued price action, I do think that to me is clear. We know this is the bull or bear sentiment. It's just that candle low. So Jordana, you are right. Jordana, you are right. With 3 minutes to complete. I'm on a schedule. We got to move on, guys. I'm on a schedule here. 5970 ES chart, right? That's your big technical demand. Your big technical supply is 6,000 ES. It's so clear, right? It's so clear. You know this is your resistance. This is your resistance. This is your demand. The longer we stay pent up in this sort of zone here, right? The more pent up this zone is, the bigger the move following the break is going to be. And that's a very bad wording there. But again, you guys know what I'm saying here. The longer we are pent up, it's kind of like a spring. When the spring gets compressed and compressed and compressed and compressed for a longer period of time, what's going to happen when that spring uncompresses, right? When the resistance breaks or the support breaks, that spring is going to launch in either direction. And the longer it gets compressed, the bigger that spring is, and the bigger it's going to either unload this way or unleash this way, right? Those are the two things to watch out for today's session: is a 6,000 break or that 5970 break here on the ES chart, which will lead to continuation back down into 593 SPY or 5950 ES chart. So some pretty clear levels today. Let's keep an eye on those big supplies and big demands today's session. Okay. On the QQQ chart, 530 was your, I mean, really, wow. 526 was a level yesterday. Now the level this morning, you can see how important it is 530 resistance. Yesterday we spoke about 526 demand. Remember we said yesterday, if you're watching for longs, what do? Look for 595 SPY or look for 526 QQQ, right? And that's exactly where we found support yesterday, right? Now granted, we did talk about the idea of 526 being not as big of a level, but this was the support yesterday. If you guys understood that yesterday, if you were short the market at highs, you knew 526 QQQ, 595 SPY, those are your big levels to get the hell out of your shorts and look for longs now, or at least get out of your shorts and take profit, right? And that's why we prep for these mornings. We prep for these mornings so you can have the actual levels so you can trade them properly, right? So if you're short here at highs at 530, where do you sell? You know 526 is your level, right? That was your level yesterday on the QQQ. Now your level today here on the Qs is as follows. It's going to be a break and hold above 530. If you clear 530, we can look for longs back into the 534. That's your next clear level of resistance. If you break back below 526, our previous day low, you have a short side move back into 522.50. So those are your two plays today, guys. Again, we're just trading levels here, right? 530 resistance, that's the previous day high lining up perfectly. 526 demand, that's your previous day low perfectly as well, right? So these are the levels to be focused on going into a morning session. Okay, I have a question for you guys. Do you prefer when I go over NQ, put a yes or a no? Should I start putting NQ into the docket every morning, or should we skip through it and only do it when it's important? Let me know what you think. Yes for yes and no for no. What do you guys think? While you guys are answering that, I'm going to go over anyway. So, level this morning is 21,840, right? That's your big level of resistance. I'm seeing some no's, actually. I'm seeing a little bit of yes, a little bit of no's. Mostly yeses, but I'll do a quick recap. It's very mixed. That is very mixed. Okay. Only when it's important. We're not futures traders. Okay, interesting. So what we'll do is we'll make it quick. We'll just make it quick. So 21,840 is that QQQ 530. And you're obviously the demand below that 21,640 is Fancy says yes. 21,640 is your NQ demand below. And that again is 526 on spot on QQQ. So this is your level, your demand below, your supply above us. Right now, the market is bullish still, right? I think it's important to recognize that. And granted, I'm not saying, when I say the market's bullish or bearish, I'm not saying you can't scalp the opposite direction. You could do that, right? Yesterday, if you scalp puts, the market was bullish yesterday, right? The market was bullish yesterday. It was bullish today. If you scalp puts yesterday at the right areas, you made money. So don't like misinterpret that, right? But the market, the general grain of the market, right? The structure of the market is still upside. That's what bullish means when I say bullish, right? And right now, the NQ chart is still overall grain bullish. And if we clear 21,840, we should see that leg higher. I would say 22,000 NQ is next level we'd see. Okay, get a little bit of hydration, and we're going to move on to our actual tickers of the day, our individual tickers of the day. We'll talk about our setups that are watching here on other names. Guys, we have 1,000 people here pre-market, and we have 286 likes. Ideally, let's get to 400. That'd be great. 40% like count is usually pretty good. But let's progress. Let's move onward, and let's go over. Brett got his hair done. No, I don't do anything to my hair. That's just water. I just throw water in my hair. No, I do not. I go to like a different barber every time. Okay, so Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia chart. We'll start with Nvidia. So Nvidia's chart yesterday, it was interesting because you saw resistance come in. Okay, you saw some resistance come in. You saw some selling come in here at 143 being resistance, 143 being resistance. That was your sort of double top high yesterday session. We moved lower yesterday. We moved lower into demand. We saw some flushing price action, some aggressive selling price action, but we only moved back into 140. 140 is your level, okay? That was your level yesterday, and that was the level we found support at yesterday. The question becomes, what can we do on NVIDIA today? I think today's session, what we do on NVIDIA is we either look for puts under 140, right? Little bear flag move, downside move lower, 137 target. Or we look for long side trades above 143, above the double top highs, 143.30, right? If we clear that, then you can look for long side trades back into a new push. Okay, so that's what I'm watching today on NVIDIA. Right now, though, again, this is so clear. I want you guys to understand this. What is NVIDIA? Can you guys tell me, is it bullish or bearish? I mean, obviously, I don't want to, I hate when people do that, but this to me, I think the general consensus should be the chart's still bullish. You can scalp puts on it, sure, right? But the idea is NVIDIA still is bullish, right? It's bullish because it's maintaining structure. It's maintaining structure, right? My drawings are horrible here, but as long as it holds 140, it's technically bullish. And someone said different barber every week. Yes, that's the good thing about New York is we have many barbers. So you can go to a different barber every time, and not every time, but at least switch them out. At least switch them out once a month, right? Anyway, 140 demand, right? 140 demand, 143 resistance. If we break 140 demand, we flip bearish, downside move. If we break and hold above 143, that's your upside trade. Right now, the market is still maintaining bullish sentiment. And you're seeing it across the board on NVIDIA. You're seeing it on, wait for this, AMD. Did anybody take AMD yesterday? Put a me if you guys took AMD yesterday. Did you guys take AMD yesterday? If you guys took AMD, that means that I at least, you guys get something from these pre-market webinars. Because that's why I do this. Because I don't want you guys to rely on just, hey, Brett's in NVIDIA, Brett's in AMD, Mike's in Tesla, Rab's in NVIDIA short. Oh, we got to jump, right? No, just trade your levels, right? Obviously, you can learn from us. You can do certain things, but if you guys took AMD, that to me is what makes me happy. And there are some people who took it, which was good. Okay, so AMD 116, that was your level yesterday's session. It maintained it perfectly. We pulled back to 116. We knew this, right? We spoke at this pre-market that the bounce level on AMD was 116, right? Now today's session, obviously, what are we doing now on AMD? On AMD, it's kind of there, you know, to be honest, like it's kind of there already, right? It's already met a lot of this upside move. I don't really have much interest in AMD today. I mean, 118 is your next level, 118.50, right? You're seeing us start to approach our targets here. The next target would be technically here at 122.50, right? That would be your next level is over here at 122.50. I would watch to see today if we can hold 118.5. If we can hold 118.5, we should move into that 122 level, right? Let's see what happens here at AMD. I'm not really convicted right now. Yesterday, I was convicted at 116. Today's session, I want to see what happens. I want to see if we hold 118.50, then I'm convicted. I can look for upside moves at 125. If we lose 118.50, I think we pull back lower to 116. If we lose 116, this is so important. I want you guys to understand when the market flips and why it flips. If we lose 116, I'm going to draw an arrow there so everybody can see it. If we lose 116, that's where we flip bearish and we could look for downside move back to 111. Right? So right now, obviously, we're bull-sided. We're bull-sided because we're maintaining structure here. And it's strong. This market ripping. Why is everything going? Wow. Whoa. Whoa, we are going higher on SPY. SPY is ripping. SPY is ripping before we can even trade it. Obviously, this is your level, though. You're seeing us start to push above that 598 level. That's going to be very interesting today. I wonder if we're reacting to news here. I think this must be news. The reason why is you can see that we are having some pretty high volume come in, some pretty high volume candles come in here. Does anybody know the news? Is there news coming out? There might be some news, but there is some high volume here on SPY chart. Okay, let's move on, guys. Let's move on. Let's go over Tesla. So all the bullish talk on SPY, Nvidia, AMD, QQQ, right? But then you look at Tesla, and you have to have a reasoning for why you have an idea, right? You can't just say I'm bullish on SPY because I like calls, or I'm bullish on SPY because I like things going higher, right? You have to have a reasoning. And the reasoning usually is based upon some sort of rules. And the rules that you have are probably structure, probably trend, something, right? And yes, Night Warrior, SPY is absolutely ripping. But let's see what happens. 598 is a level today. On Tesla, the reason why Tesla's bearish is because it's structuring lower, right? And we keep forming those lower highs. So you have the lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and lower highs, right? And consistently is forming lower highs. We spoke a little bit about this chart yesterday in Tesla, the fact that it was weak. Now today's session, the level today is 332. If we can do a little bit of a pop and failure today here at 332, that's your short side trade, right? Again, looking for rejections at 332 on Tesla. Why? Because it's bearish. If market rips today, the market's strong, Tesla probably will be relatively weak still. The only reason why Tesla will get strong is if it does this. If it does a 332 breakout, that is your only long opportunity, in my opinion, here on Tesla for an upside trade back in 350. So watching to see if that happens today. If we can break 332, look for long side trades. But as of right now, if we are under that 332, we're looking for shorts. The reason why is because it's a lower high, right? This is your lower high. And so the most logical thing to do now is to keep maintaining that idea of downtrend and to look for shorts at 332. Yesterday, the 355 rejection was good, the Tuesday. And then on Wednesday's session, it was an immediate dump, right, following the rejection here at supply. That's what we spoke about on that pre-market session on Tuesday. Now, on Wednesday's session, downside. On Thursday's session, look for a pop and fade. If it can pop and fade to 332, right, that's your short side trade. If you break and hold 332, that's your long side trade, right? So bilateral setup here. Right now, it's bilateral because it is a bit extended, but we can watch to see how we respond to 332, right? That's the next thing to do. Next ticker. Marcel is saying, next ticker. You are right, though. You are right. Let's move on. You're absolutely right. Let's go over Apple. Apple. So market is popping right now. Some sort of news is going on, right? People are saying it's China. So China news. Trump. Okay, so Trump is basically talking to China right now, and that's what's going on here. So that market's reacting to that, right? Apple obviously moving higher with that news. What does Apple have to do today? Apple has to clear 205. If Apple can clear 205, we see 207, right? So if you're trading anything today, look for. Someone said a different barber every time is sociopathic. Yeah, it is a little crazy. But above 205, right? Above 205, upside trade back at 207. That's the only thing I see here in Apple today. Above 205, upside to 207. If we clear 207, that's where the real breakout comes in, and back into 214. Right now, Apple is still a little bit of a lagger. It's a little bit of a lagger. But if it can clear 205, I think that's where it can flip into that more that stronger sentiment, right? So look for longs above 205 today. That could be a good idea going into our session ahead of us. Okay. Joshua LLY Meta. Yes, let's do Meta first. We'll do Meta first. An ECB rate cut, 25 basis point rate cut on with the European Central Bank. Why are we not cutting rates yet? We need to start cutting rates. What's going on here? So Meta, a bit of a parabolic move yesterday in Meta. To be honest with you, I am surprised. I would have expected Meta to pull back a little bit, right? But it is not pulling back. The pullback level I have today on Meta is going to be around this 673. I have a 673 potential bounce opportunity. That's the only thing I have here in Meta for longs of pullbacks. In terms of breakouts, what's going on here in Meta? Meta is getting close to all-time highs again, right? The next big level on Meta in terms of resistance is 716. You can see here lots of reactions here at 716. Below that, you have 702. 700 to 703 is a nice level here. You can see there is a lot of supply between 700 and 703. So I'm going to mark that out as a little bit of a zone here. So the level that I think we're going to at this point is you're probably headed towards that 700 level. But I would argue this. We are overextended right now here on Meta. I would not really be a long on this overextension trade. I think we should look for longs back in demand. Even so, you could take that idea and you can, and this is where it gets crazy, is you can probably expect some short-term reactions here for puts, right? If you want to look for some puts, some overextension trades, you can do it here at 700. I know it's crazy, and it's against trend, but that's where I would expect things to begin to fade. Obviously, if you clear 700, 703, we'd like to go back to 716. But I think we're overextended at this point, and I would be careful longing back to 700. That's the most important thing to talk about here on Meta's chart. What I would expect at some point, though, is I would expect a pullback, and this is so important, is I would expect a pullback into 660, right? It's far away, but 660 is where this is going to pull back eventually. It's not going to happen today, probably, but it probably will happen sometime next week, right? 660 as a pullback level, that's what I would expect here on Meta's chart. Even so, 674 is also a bounce level. So you bounce level number one, and bounce level number two. This 688 level, I'm going to remove my chart. I don't really have it as a key level anymore. The levels I have are demand here at 673 and demand here at 660. Those are your two big levels here in Meta's chart. I think eventually we do pull back this big demand here. That's where it has to pull back to reload a lot of those long side trades. Okay, LLY. So a little Eli Lilly action here. It's bull flagging. Is it bull flagging? Yeah, I mean this is a really beautiful daily bull flag, right? This is the most beautiful daily bull flag probably of the lot that we've gone over so far, right? I mean that is nice, right? That is absolutely nice. Now where does this go to? In the larger time frame, right? In a larger time frame, you can see we are bouncing off of a major support here. The major support here on Eli Lilly is around 733 to a low of around 710. So it's a bit of a wide range here at Eli Lilly, but that's just what it is. This is a large range stock. On the 1 hour time frame, you can clearly see your level here on Eli Lilly right now is 733, right? That's your recent swing low. And you produce another recent swing low here around these highs over here around 760, right? 760. So if you're trading Eli Lilly in the short term, you're looking for probably this. You're looking to see, can we hold 760? If we can, that's your long opportunity where you can see 760, 760, 760. If you lose 760, we move back to 732, and that's your big demand below. So that's your big daily demand. And I think if you're long Eli Lilly, you're probably long on larger time frames, right? Not really trading the shorter time frame, not really day trading this. This is probably more of a day trade, of a swing trade or a equity trade. So I would say Eli Lilly right now is bullish as long as this is above 732. Okay. NVO leaps, yeah, NVO is ripping, right? So NVO, I'm already in long term in this. I think you guys know that. I wanted to add more, but if it doesn't pull back, I won't add more. I'm just going to hold my initial size. That's what's happening here in NVO, right? NVO just keeps pushing higher, and that's fine. It's holding big weekly demand here, and that's what's bullish, right? That's what's making this chart so bullish right now, is the fact that it's a beautiful, beautiful daily, weekly demand hold. Now the question is, does it break downtrend? It hasn't broken downtrend yet, so let's not get excited yet, right? It's starting to perk above it, but it hasn't done anything of any seriousness yet. Let's see what happens here on this weekly chart, because if this week closes, obviously, right? It's Thursday today. Tomorrow's Friday. If we close the week above 73 on NVO, this chart probably rips, because that would be a break of weekly demand of weekly trend line, and we likely move higher back at 95. So right now we're not out of the woods yet. This candle, think of this candle. Imagine you're a day trader, right? If you're a day trader and you're watching the 5-minute chart right now, basically you're looking at a 5-minute chart that hasn't closed yet. right? This chart hasn't closed yet on the weekly. So let's wait to see if it can close above 73. If it can, that's where we are obviously more bullish and we can look for this to go back to 95, right? That's what I'm expecting here on this weekly chart. Okay, so that's NVO. Let's move on, guys. Let's move on. I'm looking at the charts you guys are talking about. Let's go over PLTR. PLTR. Remember I said PLTR. What are you? What are you if you are what are you if you are a PLTR trader? What are you? Right? What are you? You guys know this. You should know this already, right? Don't get caught up in the bullshit, right? The bullshit's 130, the bullshit's 133. That's all the bullshit. You are a 125 trader, right? 125. Yes, Blaine said it. Blaine's the first one. 125, that's all you are, right? So we sold off aggressively. We sold off into what? Around 125. Found support, ripped higher. Today's session, what are you again? Don't change, right? 125. Watch it again, right? 125, that's it. 133, level of resistance. 130, resistance, right? But as of right now, 125 is your key level, okay? Amazon. So some explosiveness in Amazon. And I like trading Amazon. So maybe we'll focus on Amazon today. I think here with Amazon's chart, the big level is 206.50. But you have a level here around 209. That previous day high session, right? From the session high, right? 209 is your next level. And I think today's session, we could do this. We could look for that little aggressive entry, right? We could look for that 209 entry. If you can see us pull back to 209 today, step along, that could be a long entry, right? So watch 209, 209, really 209 to 208, right? That's a little bit of a wide zone here on Amazon chart, but that's what I'd watch out for today's session. Is I'd watch to see that little Tuesday high and that pre-market high 209, that little pre-market high before the breakout, right? So let's watch to see if 29 holds. If 29 holds, that's your upside trade. Okay. Let's move on. You're seeing 212 on Amazon. I don't have yeah, I do have 212. I know I do have 212. I do have 212. Yes, but the thing is with Amazon, if Amazon clears 212, Amazon's not Tesla, right? So Amazon moves in very slow. Amazon is like a cruise ship, right? And Tesla is like a motorboat. Okay, so Tesla will rip, right, like a motorboat, and Amazon will move like a cruise ship. So it may take some time for Amazon to break 212 and go to 215. So I would expect today's session that the pullback long here at 209 would be a better trade. The 212 breakout will work, right? But it may take time. It may be tomorrow where it goes higher. Fancy, what chart? Which chart am I looking at? I'm not seeing it. But I'll go over AVGO. Let's go over AVGO. AVGO chart. So AVGO, obviously, reporting in the after-hour session today. On the AVGO chart, the level this morning is 256. I would say what we should be watching here in AVGO is 256, right? If it can pull back to 256, it's your long entry today. To be honest with you, though, I wouldn't trade AVGO, right? Earnings after hours. I don't think this is going to be a nice chart to trade. I don't think it's going to be that nice. Even if it is nice, it's not going to move that much because the contracts are going to be stuck. The level, though, right now is 256. Look for longs there off that Tuesday high level and that little Wednesday support zone. So watch that 256 that area today for longs. Okay. Crowdstrike, CRWD. Crowdstrike. 450 is your level, and it's just that. That's all it is. 450, right? This is a potential long opportunity we're seeing here. We have a high, turning into a series of lows here in the pre-market session here at Crowdstrike. That's your long opportunity. Right now, Crowdstrike turning into support now off that 450 level. If you're long Crowdstrike, you're long 450 with the stop loss below it. You're targeting a move higher back into there. Right? That's all you're doing on Crowdstrike. This is a long here on Crowdstrike. This is absolutely long. If it holds 450, it's a long trade. Guys, thank you all for joining in. We went over a lot of different names today. I think we should be set. That's all we have to do today. Guys, thank you all for joining in. I'll see you all for live trading with us. If you don't, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys.